petition process. Now, getting involved in the political process is a candidate or trying to help take over the political party that you belong to within your town, and which ultimately rises to the county and then ultimately to the state level. You're going to have to fill out one of these petitions. Now, there's several ways, actually two principal ways of getting on the committee of the party you belong to in your town. The first way is to ingratiate yourself to the chairman, bow down, kiss his ring, and he will appoint you to the committee if he has a vacancy, or he'll appoint you to an associate position to the committee if there is no vacancy. But every person who is appointed by the chairman can be unappointed by the chairman. So if you don't support the candidate he wants you to support, he can unappoint you and your vote will mean nothing. Anyone who fills out one of these is elected by the people, and the chairman can kiss his own ring. Okay, so we want to make sure that you fill out a petition to get on the committee of the party that you belong to, or in the event you are running for public office, whether it's going to be this coming election in 2010 to run for the state senate or the state assembly, or whether you're going to run for the committee or some local office that might be on the ballot in your town. These petitions are all filled out exactly the same way. So let's go through the process here so you don't make a mistake. And trust me, there are built-in landmines in this process that the Board of Elections knows that they're not going to tell you, and if you don't know what they are, you're going to step on it and you're going to blow yourself right off the ballot. Okay, so let's pay attention to what's being put forth here. The first thing is, this is a template of a petition that I'm using at this point for a committee person. And you can download this petition from the New York State Board of Elections website. Go to the Running for Office tab, and that tab will take you to all of the documents that you need to run for office. There are specific dates that certain things have to be done, and amongst all those other things is this rough petition that has to be modified so it's applicable to your race. Okay? The first thing that would have to be modified is this section right here. Obviously, what party do I belong to? I don't remember, I think it says party, candidates party or something like that on the template that you'll download from the Board of Elections. You'll have to put the party that you belong to. I am a member of the Republican Party. Okay? Or if you're running for the other party, what party would that be? The Democratic Party? Is that what it says? No, it is the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party. Okay? It's not Democratic, it's Democrat. You want to make sure that that is what is in your petition. Now, there's a couple of safety features that I want to tell you about right away. Okay? First thing is that in order to make sure that your petition is absolutely bulletproof, one of the safeguards that you can take is to go to the Board of Elections. Now, this is one case where you can actually trust them. Okay? You want to go to them, and you trust them with a stick in your hand. Okay? You go to the Board of Elections, and let's just say I want to run for the supervisor of the town that I'm in, and my supervisor happens to be a Republican. So I go to the Board of Elections and I say, I want to see the petition for the supervisor of my town, Joe Matarazz, and they'll give you a copy of his petition that he filed. But it will invariably be the Conservative or the Independence Party petition. They will not give you his Republican petition. Okay? They want you to see his Republican petition. You say specifically, because you're a Republican, you want to see the Republican petition that he put in. If he's a Democrat and you're a Democrat, I want to see the Democratic petition that was filed on his behalf. The reason is, any data that you use that came directly off of his petition is enforceable in court. Okay? So if he used the word Democratic Party, and you put Democratic Party, you can argue that the Board of Elections has recognized this petition as being valid because the current occupant of that office has Democratic on his petition. Okay? Any description of the office, and we'll get to that in a second, if your description matches his description, they have to acknowledge that your petition is valid. They throw petitions out every year because the description of the office is not correct, okay? So be very careful. If you're going to run for office, get the petition of the person that currently holds that office if it is in the party of the party that you currently belong to, or that you intend to belong to, okay?
Can you take that home with you, that petition?
You can make a copy for 25 cents. Okay, the first page. You only need one page.
So it's a legal document.
It's a legal document, yes. And again, let's hold the questions until we're done, and just jot them down, because this will only take about 35 or 40 minutes, and the landmines are few and far between, but they're there, so I want you to be careful. Obviously, the first section, I, the undersigned, do hereby state. The undersigned is the people who are going to be witnessing this petition for you down here. These are the undersigns, and what they're attesting to is that they are members of the Republican Party and entitled to vote in the next primary election. Now, how do I know that they're entitled to vote in the next primary election? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to give you, I will provide for you, or Tom in Albany County and whoever in each of the other counties will have the entire voter registration list for every voter in every county in New York where we have candidates running. And we will give you a list of people who are eligible to sign your petition. If you're running for the assembly, we carve that group of people out that are in your party, in your assembly district, and that's the list you get. Everybody on that list will be able to sign your petition. If you're running for the Senate, we'll do the same thing. Senators run in multiple counties. So if, in my case, if I were going to run against the occupant of the Senate district that I live in, I would have to get the voter list from Erie County, Wyoming County, Livingston County, and Ontario County. And I would have to carve out in each of those counties the people in those counties who are in the 59th State Senate District. And then use that list. Only those people are eligible to sign your petition. Anyone else that says, oh, I'm a registered Republican, if their name isn't on that list, don't even bother. You know, you can put it on there just to make the Board of Elections have to throw it out, and they will, by the way. But if you want a bulletproof petition that you can count on, if their name is on the list, it can be on your petition. If it's not on the list, it can't be on your petition. Okay? That's the guide that's going to be used to throw names off your petition. Okay, so I understand and am an enrolled voter of the Republican Party entitled to vote in the next primary election of such date and to be held on, and the date I have in here is September 15th. It's not a real date, September 15th, 2009. I just chose that because it's a date in September. Okay? It's typically before the 14th of September. I think it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday. And that's the date that will be in there. So next September, the date will be set by the Assembly and the Senate, approved by the governor, and a date will be made public for running these petitions, or for the primary, and then the calendar for running the petitions will be established in law. Okay, the name of the candidate, obviously, this is an easy one, your name, okay? But one of the things you need to check, how does your name appear on the voter registration list? If your name is Tom Chandler, and on the voter registration list it says Tom Chandler Jr., Tom Chandler III, Tom Chandler the Mighty, whatever your name is in the voter registration list, that's how it has to appear on here. If I put on the voter registration card, my name is Lenny Roberto, it better say Lenny Roberto on that petition. My name actually is Leonard Angelo Roberto, so I would have to have an A between Leonard and Roberto because that's my legal name. If I were to, for example, put down that I were Leonard Roberto, circulate this petition, it would probably be challenged and thrown out. A judge would probably reinstate it, but it would be just another step that I would have to take to get on the ballot. Okay, the judge would obviously say the candidate knows who he is. Okay, but you don't want to cause problems that you have to solve in the future. Okay, the next item is the office that you're running for. Now this is really important because the Board of Elections, and this is why I tell you to get a copy of the petition of the current occupant of that position. Okay, the Board of Elections is not going to tell you how to put the office on here. They'll say something like this, and well, how do I know? Because it happened to me. Experience is a good teacher. It's painful though sometimes. What office are you running for? I want to be a committeeman. They say, okay, just put committeeman up there. And you put your address down. Well, that's not good enough. It got thrown out. Okay, because that's not the legal description of the office. The legal description is, I am a committeeman in District 4, in the town of Newstead, in the county of Erie, in the state of New York. Okay? You have to have all of that information in the description of the office that you're running for. I am a committeeman in the city of Albany, in the 1st Ward, in District 1, in the county of Albany, in the state of New York. If you don't have all that on there, your petition is going to get thrown out. You can get 1 million signatures on that petition, and because the office is described wrong, it's going to get thrown out. Okay? They know that. You can get 1 million signatures on that petition, and because the office is described wrong, it's going to get thrown out. Okay? They know that. And they're not going to describe the office for you. They're going to make you make the mistake of incorrectly describing the office and then laugh when they throw your petition out. So get a copy of the petition of the current occupant of that office. If there isn't a current occupant, because there are a lot of committee positions that are not occupied, get a committee petition of a person who is in your town that's on the committee in the party that you're in. Okay, if you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for a massive disappointment. Okay, the same thing is true of all other elected offices. This is a tree starting with the smallest portion of people being represented. I want to be an assembly person in the 51st Assembly District, if it's wholly within a county, the county of Erie, in the state of New York. If you don't have that entire description, the petition will be thrown out. And all your volunteers will have walked in the heat for nothing. So this is a very serious mine that's buried for you in the road, and if you don't watch out for it, it's going to go off on the last day of the petition drive. Okay? The next thing is, where do I live? Of course I know where I live. Okay? I live at 123 Main Street, Akron, New York, 14001. When I get my mail, that's what people send it to. 123 Main Street, Akron, New York, 14001. If that's the address that I had put on this petition, it would have gotten thrown out. The Board of Elections works with towns. They don't work with postal codes. They don't work with villages, burbs, subdivisions of cities, towns, or municipalities. Only towns. There are only 960 towns in the state of New York. And one of those towns better be on your address. In my case, the postal address is Akron, New York, because that's the village within the town. And the post office is in the village. And everybody in the town of Newstead, when they fill out one of these petitions, they're going to write down, as they're going to do for you down here, what is your residence address? I live at 123 Main Street, Akron, New York. And they're going to put Akron in the column that says town or city. And the Board of Elections is going to laugh as they cross those names out and say, that one's no good, that one's no good, that one's no good, that one's no good. Because they work in towns. The town of Newstead. Make sure that when you're running a petition, that you know what town you're in. Okay? There are people who signed my petition to run for a certain public office, and I ran that petition in East Aurora. It's one of the bigger towns in Erie County, and it encompasses a large geographic area, and there are people who are actually in other towns that have an East Aurora postal code. So as they were filling out the petition, and this I didn't know at the time, they were writing down 123 Main Street, East Aurora. They know where they live. Okay? The Board of Elections threw out 200 plus signatures for my petition because apparently they didn't think those people knew where they lived. East Aurora is not a town. Aurora is the town. East Aurora is the village within the town. Okay? So don't fall into this landmine by not putting, here let me unhighlight that so you can see it better. When you fill out your address as the candidate, you put Leonard Roberto, accurately describe the position that you're running for, and in your address, put your whole address as you would if you were receiving mail, but if that address does not include the name of the town, in parentheses, put the name of the town. Okay? Because if you don't have it, they're going to throw your petition out. Okay? Next item. I do hereby appoint, this section right here, I do hereby appoint, and it says, and the parentheses in there, must be enrolled in the same party as the candidate, 3 persons minimum. Okay? That is what's called a committee to fill vacancy. Now, God forbid something should happen to you after your petition is received, verified, certified, and you're on the ballot. If something should happen to you where you're not able to fulfill your responsibilities if elected, somebody has to replace you on the ballot. These are the people who are going to replace you. Without that being on your petition is invalid. The Board of Elections in Genesee County fills out petitions. It was a Republican commissioner that did this. By the way, this is all illegal. Created all the petitions for all the people that were running for office in the city of Batavia. And there was a certain member of the Republican committee filling out one of these petitions who wanted to run for the town council. But he was told he couldn't run because they had already decided who that was going to be. And he said no, he wasn't going to accept that. He was going to run anyways. So he began to get a committee together to start a run for that office in a primary. And in the meantime, the committee petitions came out and were handed to all of the committee chairmen throughout the city, and then disseminated down to the individual committee people. Every committee person that supported him, that section was missing on their petition. They had intentionally left them out in order to make that person invalidate himself as a candidate. And fortunately for him, somebody smelled the smoke burning and sent him to me, and I saw it and immediately said, that petition is invalid. It's formatted incorrectly. I reformatted the petition, gave him a good petition. He went out, got his signatures, was on the ballot, and ultimately won the election. Okay? This has to be there. And, technically, the courts say it doesn't have to be there. But if it's not there, they'll throw your petition out. And you'll play hell trying to get it reinstated. All right? The rules for the people that are going to be on this petition in your committee to fill vacancies are the same as the candidate. You have to have the name of the person as it appears in the Board of Elections records. Okay, so that person has to be, one, a registered voter in your party, if you're running a Republican petition, and the address has to be as it is in the voter registration list, along with the town. So notice in my example, I put down 788 Sullivan Road. This is my actual address, by the way. Alden, New York, 14004. And I don't have the name of the town in parentheses after my address. The reason is Alden is the name of the town, and it's acceptable at the Board of Elections just as it is. But down further, party number 3, 123 North Street, East Aurora, New York, 14127, and in parentheses, town of Aurora. Because if that's not there, that petition is not properly formatted, and the entire petition is thrown out. The candidate's not going to be on the ballot. You have to have this correct. Okay? The next section. These people that are on the voter registration list that are going to sign this petition, and what they're saying in this section right here is that I agree this person should be allowed on the ballot as a candidate for the office represented on the petition. And all that's required of them by law is their signature. It is not required by law that you can read the signature. All that is required by law is that the person who claims to be the person you're looking for at that particular address has said, I am that person, and they can put an A and a straight line through it. If that's their signature, that's their signature. The Board of Elections can't throw it out. But you have the residence requirement next to it. Now, it's not required that they fill that out, but it is required that it be there. Okay? So again, the rules of the residence apply as in for the candidate and is for the committee to fill vacancy. 123 Main Street, Akron, New York. Whoa, back up the film. No, I don't want to do that. When you're running a petition, let's just say I'm in the town of Newstead. Do we have any towns around here that have burbs within them?
County has Latham and...
Latham? Latham is not a town.
No.
Okay, somebody lives in Latham, all right? Or you're circulating a petition in Latham, and they're going to sign their petition, 123 Main Street, Latham. Don't give them that opportunity. Pre-print your petition so that all the town names are in there. If you're going to run petitions in Latham, and Latham is in which town?
Colony.
Colony?
Yeah.
Okay, and Latham is in the town of Colony, you print Colony in there. Don't let them put that name Latham in there. Because if you do, chances are good the Board of Elections is going to try and throw it out. And if you've corrected it, and it will be okay. If you correct it and put Colony in there and initial it, that will be okay. But what if you miss it? Okay? Don't give them the opportunity to do that. Pre-print in the column for town, the actual town you're running the petition in. And when you're done, just, if you don't need those petitions anymore, throw them away. Paper's cheap. Okay? Getting thrown off the ballot is not. Okay? It's very expensive. All right? Now, let's talk about dates here. Obviously we have, this is the petition for a 2009 candidate next year. This column here will say 2010. This will all be pre-printed, 2010. The dates, I have 15 lines. Template, if you go to the template, will have 25 lines at the Board of Elections. It'll also be divided so that the signature line is split in half, where a signature is required above and a printed name is required beneath. The printed portion is not required by law and can be eliminated just as this one is. Okay? But what I do and what I recommend that you do, and every candidate that has not done this has burdened himself severely, is I run a petition on, let's just say, June 15th. I'm going to start running this particular page on June 15th. I pre-print June 15th on all of those pages and print it out. You know, with computer technology, it's very simple to change all these dates. You take out June 15th and you put it on there, and you run the petition and you get 15 names, and then your next page you got June 15th pre-printed, and you're still running, and at the end of the day you've got your last page that you're working on, and that page you're only halfway down, you got 8 signatures on it, you're tired, you want to go home and get something to eat. At that point, you take a line from the lower left-hand corner to the bottom of the last signature, draw a line through it, and you put no more entries this page, or something of that nature. Okay? It's an old Navy habit that's served me well. And what that does, that says, there's no more entries on this page for this date. Take those home with you and fill out this section of the petition. And all the dates from that point on, down to this section right here, all will have the same date. Okay, June 15th, June 15th, June 15th, all the way down till the end of the day. Why is that important? Because if somebody changes the date, you're going June 15th, June 15th, June 15th, June 13th, June 14th, June 15th, June 15th, the whole page gets thrown away.
The whole page?
The whole page will get thrown away. Board of Elections will throw the whole page away. If the witness signs at the bottom an incorrect date, let's just say the genius that changed the date was the last signature on the page. The witness puts the same signature or the same date on the bottom of the page. The whole thing is thrown away. Okay? They will throw this petition away at the drop of a hat. Be very, very careful. No, I'm sorry, not the whole petition, the whole page. The whole page gets thrown away. So make sure that all the signatures on the page and the witness signature at the bottom have the same date. The date is also important for another reason. Whoever gets the signature first is the only one that can use it. So we're obviously going to be primarying people that are either occupants of the office or endorsed by the party to occupy that office. And they've got their little army out there scurrying around trying to get petition signatures as well. Whoever's signature is dated earliest is the one that counts. If that person signed 2 petitions, only his first signature counts. Okay? We have to make sure that we get the dates correct. Okay? Now, this is the witness portion of the petition, this section right here. There's actually 2 separate portions. This top piece here, actually this will be better if I'm up here, since I don't have to move this. There is this section here, okay, which is signed, which is witnessed by a member of the party of the candidate that's running the petition, not the candidate. The candidate doesn't sign this. Only the person who actually carried that petition. It's an affidavit. I saw these people put their signatures on this piece of paper. Okay, I had a candidate recently witness every single page at the bottom because he was told that's what he was supposed to do. And that's fraud. You can go to jail for that. Okay? Alright, so the first item on here is your name. Okay? Does everybody know who they are? Make sure that the Board of Elections thinks you are who you say you are. My name is Leonard Angelo Roberto, and that's what better appear there. Okay? Your name is Thomas Alice Chalmers. Alice Chalmers. I spent too much time in the firm. Okay? And that's what's got to appear there. However it appears in the Board of Elections voter list, that's how it's got to appear on the petition at the bottom of the witness signature. Okay? I am a member of, and notice I have the Republican Party highlighted again. That party has to match the party at the top. Okay? If it says Republican at the top, it's got to say Republican all the way down. Okay? If it's a Democrat at the top, it's got to say Democrat all the way down. I now reside at, don't forget, the rules of the address are the same down here as they are for the candidate at the top. I reside at 123 Main Street, Akron, New York, in parentheses, the name of the town. Now, it's important to know what the name of your town is. Okay? Some people don't know what the name of their town is. In particular, John knows this, it's the town of Tonawanda in western New York, in Erie County. What town do you live in? I live in town of Tonawanda. So when they come to the petition, they say, I live at 123 Main Street, Tonawanda. Well, Tonawanda is not the name of the town. The actual legal name of the incorporated entity is the town of Tonawanda. So you have to put in there, the town of Tonawanda. Okay? So make sure you know the legal name of the town that you're running in. And there's a list at the Board of Elections. I mean, they can screw up a lot of stuff, but they can't screw up the name of your town. Okay? So make sure you have a list of the towns that are in your county or in the district that you're running for. Okay? Each of the individuals whose name is subscribed to this petition sheet containing, and this little block is very important. If you have 15 signatures on the page, put a 15 there. If you have 13, put 13 there. If you leave it blank, none of the signatures count. Okay? If you don't put the right number there, they'll either discount. If you don't put anything there, they'll throw all of them away. Okay, so let's just say you have 15 signatures up there, you put 10 there. Okay? Only the first 10 are going to count. And they're going to challenge those first 10 by comparing it to their petition. And if 3 of them are duplicates, they're going to win, you're going to lose. Only 7 of your first 10 are going to count. Well, wait a minute, I said I had 10 good signatures, you can take the next 3. Well, no, they won't do that. Only the first 10 are going to count. Let's just say I have 10 signatures on the page, and I put 15 here. Well, they're going to say you overstated the number of signatures that you have, and you only have 10. So they're going to deduct 5 from your total, and then they're going to penalize you another 5 for misstating what is actually on the petition. So be careful not to screw this up. Okay? You got to make sure you get this right, because they'll take numbers away from you. They're trying to whittle you to one vote, one signature less than what is required for you to get on the ballot. They don't care how many others they got, as long as they got you one less. A candidate came to me a couple of years ago, and he said he wanted to run for office, and I gave him all the details on how to run a petition. He had a better idea, and it didn't turn out so good for him. We put a team together, myself and an attorney. We went through his petition with a fine-tooth comb. We got him to, he needed 500 valid signatures to be on the petition, or on his petition. We got him to 501. And the Board of Elections challenged his petition with the other petition, and they got him to 499. And it was because of this. He lost an entire page, 25 signatures, because of this. Okay? Don't screw up. Caution. Okay? I understand that statements are, it's an affidavit that you're filling out. Okay? And then we have a section here, down here, where you're going to date it, right here. And then you're going to put your signature here. Your signature. Whoever physically walked this from person to person to person to person, that's the person that has to sign it. That's the person whose name appears on the top. I physically walk this. I certify that the people who sign their names are the people who were in the voter registration list and are qualified members of the party to sign this petition. Then they give you another opportunity to shove a dagger through your heart. Under the witness identification information, they have the town or city that the witness belongs to. Okay? If you don't fill that out correctly, they throw that page out. Okay? They'll invalidate that page on the petition. So you got to make sure you put the accurate name of the town you live in order to make that page valid. So if I were to help you in Albany County, my address would be 123 Main Street, Akron, New York, 14001, Town of Newstead at the top. But if I don't put Town of Newstead on the bottom, or just Newstead, not Town of, Newstead on the bottom, they'll throw that page out. Okay, so you got to make sure that that's there as well. And also that I live in the county of Erie. Not the county you're running in, the county I live in. This is all information concerning the person who ran the petition. Okay? The bottom half is a portion that is made available for people who can witness a signature by license. That would be a notary public or a commissioner of deeds. They don't have to be members of your party, and they can run a petition for any person of any party within the confines of their authority. So if they're notaries in Albany County, they can run a petition in Albany County. If they're Commissioner of Deeds in the city of Albany, they can run within the city of Albany. Okay, so they're limited in that regard, and then they fill out the same information, a certain number of signatures that are above, and then they put their commission at the lower right-hand corner. All right, now, we got this little block right here. At the end of the day, all of this is going to be filled out with the exception of that one block. You're going to leave that block vacant until you're ready to put your petition together. Because it's going to take, in some cases, hundreds of signatures. If you're going to run for the Senate, it's going to take 1,000 signatures to get on the ballot. And obviously at 15 per page, even if you had 15 per page, it's going to take you several pages. Okay? And so you're going to run these petitions. If you had 15 per page, it's going to take you several pages. Okay? And so you're going to run these petitions, you're going to witness them, you're going to sign the witness portion, you're going to bind them together, and you're going to set them off to the side until you get enough towards the end of the petition drive to finalize your petition. And then what you're going to do is you're going to organize them any way that you want. You can put your petitions alphabetically by height for all I care. But what I do is I put them in the order of the number of signatures on each page. So I put all my ones first, the pages that have one signature, pages that have two signatures, pages that have three signatures, up to the pages that have 15. And that's so I can very quickly figure out how many signatures I have to make sure that I'm qualified to be on the ballot. The last thing you want to do is stop before you have enough signatures to get on the ballot. And then once that's bound together, then what you do is you take your petition, starting from the top sheet, and you label it. Or you number it. Page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, until you get to the last page. And you can continue to add to the end of your petition until you actually submit the petition. Okay? So what I do is I bind it upside down and make the clip on the binder on the back side so I can keep adding and then add another page until I'm actually done with my petition and I'm ready to hand it in. If you get the order wrong in your petition, they will throw your petition out. Okay? They don't have to put it in order for you. They don't have to say, okay, we understand you screwed up. They're not going to do it. They'll do it for your opponent, but they're not going to do it for you. They will throw your petition out if you get them out of order. Now, another thing that I do is this, is that once my petition is complete, in fact, I should probably jump to another page. I'm going to do that before I do that. Now, once your petition is complete, the next thing you have to have is a cover sheet for your petition. And this is also downloadable at the Board of Elections. I probably should have opened it before we started. There's a cover sheet. There's no rocket science on the cover sheet. The cover sheet used to be the easiest way to throw a candidate out because it was the certification of the entire petition. If they made a mistake on the cover sheet, they would throw the petition in its entirety out. They did that to me once. Okay, that's not happening as often as it used to for many reasons. Candidate's name, the office he's running for, and his residence. It has to appear there just as it appears on the petition. So you gotta make sure that that information is all the same and that it is all accurate. How many volumes? Well, unless you're running for the United States Congress or the U.S. Senate, you're probably only gonna have one volume. I saw a mayor of Buffalo one time, he was handing in his petitions, he had 6 volumes in his petition. They were about that thick each. I mean, he had an army out there running his petition. But typically, 1 volume, total number of volumes in the petition, 1. Okay, you're going to have maybe 50 pages, and you'll have enough signatures within 50 pages. The petition contains, let me see if I can read it here better. Petition contains a number or in excess of the number of valid signatures required by the election law. Make sure you know, that's another thing, make sure you know how many signatures are required for the office that you're running for. Don't trust the Board of Elections. Okay, they'll lie to you and you'll invalidate your own petition. All right, just so you know the typical number, unless it's an office that has an assigned number, such as the office of sheriff of a town, a sheriff of a county, mayor of a city, state assembly, state senate, they all have the same number, okay, of signatures, so a fixed number for them. If you're running for the committee, it's 5% of the registered voters in your party, in your district. That's what you have to have, okay? Wait a minute. Contact person, obviously you want to be contacted as the candidate, so you put your name there, your residence address, and also put the town in there. Don't give them a chance to put a hook in you by forgetting to put that town in there. Not required on the cover sheet, put it there anyways, okay? And I'll keep them from bothering you. Phone number, fax number, email, voicemail, cell phone, you can add that to the cover sheet. No problem with adding additional ways of getting a hold of you. And then you sign the candidate or the candidate's agent. Some candidates have a campaign manager that might sign that, and the campaign manager is the one that will actually be called in the event the petition is invalidated or they find a problem with the petition. Trust me, if they find a problem with your petition, the only call you're going to get is your petition was thrown out. They're not going to call you to come and remedy it, okay, which is an option, really. Okay, now what are we going to do after we get all these done? I got 27 pages, or 127 pages of petition. I have my cover sheet. I have it all ready to go. I've bound it. I very highly recommend that you get a 2-hole punch, and you know how lawyers do with the 2 holes and the little U-shaped clip that goes through that bends over and it's got a little retainer on the other side, and all of that stuff. Okay, bind it all together. This is the cover above page 1. Directly under this better be page 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And when you get it all done, you take it to Kinko's, or somebody like Kinko's, or you copy it on your copier at home. I don't care how you do it, but get a copy, because you have no proof that you even submitted a petition if they decide, whoa, we don't want this guy running, and it ends up in a hopper somewhere. Okay? You want to make sure you have a hard copy of that petition. And when you get the copy, the very first thing you're going to do after you bind it together is go from page to page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because even people at Kinko's make mistakes. Okay? And make sure that the petition has remained in order before you push it or give it to the Board of Elections. Make sure your copy is in order before you take it to the Board of Elections. Because what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Board of Elections and you're going to say, here's the original. And they're going to stand there and they're going to date and time stamp that petition. Which means absolutely nothing if it ends up in a hopper somewhere. Okay? But then you're going to hand them your copy and they're going to date and time stamp the copy. And if they won't date and time stamp the copy, call the commissioner of the Board of Elections, make them date and time stamp it. And if they won't do it there, call a cop and make them, whatever you do, date and time stamp that copy. Because if you don't have it, when you go to court, you have no proof that your petition was as you say it was. Okay? And they can argue that it was not as you present this copy. They have to date and timestamp that petition. We had one case where the Board of Elections refused to date and timestamp until I walked in and threatened to sue them if they did not date and timestamp that petition. And they finally timestamped it. Okay? Otherwise, they were going to throw the petition out. Don't trust these people. They're criminals. Okay? All right? And then once that's in, they have 3 days to notify you if your petition is being challenged. Now, typically speaking, they will challenge your petition. Now, we've had several from primary challenge that have been challenged. Anybody who has followed the instructions I've given them, not one of them has ever been thrown out. Okay? Everybody that has a shortcut, that has a better idea on how to run a petition, almost every one of them has been thrown out. But not one person that's followed the instructions has ever been thrown off the ballot. If they have not notified you within 3 days that you have a challenge, you are going to be in the election. Okay? You're going to be a candidate. But they have to inform you in writing that you're going to be a candidate, which they will do following the 3-day challenge period. You should have notification of that within 7 days. Once they challenge your petition, let's go back here. Once they tell you somebody has issued a challenge to your petition, they have 7 days to substantiate the challenge, which means the Board of Elections and all their ilk are up there going through your petition, every signature, one signature at a time. They're checking to make sure the witness is perfect. If, let's just say, Tom is a witness on my petition, and they can pin something on Tom that invalidates him as a witness of a petition, every page he witnessed gets thrown off of my petition. Okay? And I'll rip those pages right out of my petition. Be very, very, very careful with your petition. When you go to get signatures, this is one of the traps that people are going to fall into. There's a bazillion people at the mall, and they're going to be there anyways. And so I can just stand out in front of the mall and say, hey, can you sign my petition? And 2 seconds, they sign the petition. All those are going to be invalidated. Invariably, all of them. Because they aren't registered to the party that you belong to. They're not registered to vote. They don't live in your district. Something of that nature is going to be invariably wrong with their signature, and it's going to be wrong, and you're going to have fewer signatures than you think you have, and your petition is going to get thrown out. The hardest way to get signatures is the best way to get them. That's taking the list, collated by street and number, and knocking on their door. And when they answer, you ask them, would you sign my petition? And it has a benefit too, because the more times they see you, the more times they contact you, the better chance there is that they will vote for you. So knocking on their door, help me get on the ballot. Once you're on the ballot, you take your petition and you send every person on your petition a thank you card for signing your petition and helping me to obtain ballot access. That's a second contact. And then send them a letter to remind them that the election is in September of such and such a day, and is in September of such and such a day, and would appreciate your being a part of the process, and so encouraged by your active participation in my campaign. And after the petition has been filed and all of that stuff, and you've sent the thank you letter, go door to door and knock on all those people that are in your district, as many as you can, particularly the ones that signed your petition, so they remember to come out to vote. Let me just say this. Most of the people who are on the committees of the party are lazy. They were placed there by the chairman. They didn't have to do anything to get there. And if you make them work, you're going to wash them out. Work harder than they do. Want it more than they do. And you'll win this election. 2010 is a pivotal year for the people of New York. You have the power to take your government back. If you do this to take over your committees, if you find yourself candidates. Now, another thing, when I have a candidate that's going to run for the state assembly, let's go crazy. I live in Albany County, and I have a town race. I'm running for the committee, so I have one page, and I'm running have somebody in my town who's running for town supervisor, and so I'm supporting that person. I take his petition, I put his under mine. And then I have a guy that's running for the state assembly that we're supporting collectively, and I put that petition under that one. And then I have a guy that's running for the state senate, and I put that one under that one. Okay, so now I'm carrying 4 sheets of paper. So when I knock on the door for John Voter, I say, John, would you help me? We're trying to take our government back on this primary challenge. By the way, if you can get a shirt that says primary challenge, because when it's, the more people know about it, the better they like it. Would you sign my petition to help me get on the ballot to be a committee man? Sure, no problem. He signs your petition, and I'm also helping to support so-and-so. And yeah, sure, no problem. And I'm helping so-and-so. Would you sign that one? Sure, no problem. And I'm helping this last guy. Sure, no problem. And you stopped at one place and you got signatures for 4 candidates. That's how it's done. That's how you can get on the committee. The other thing is this. If you want to really get good, when you, on your committee petition, where it says name of candidate, if you have both people, 2 people running for the same office that you're both supporting, let's say we have a husband and wife team, we're going to run both people for the same office in the same election district because there are 2 of them available. Put both names on the same petition, so every time somebody signs that one petition, you're getting a signature for both people. Okay? And the other thing is this, is that people are robotic. Okay? 85% of the people go into the polls, and because they're Republican, they vote 85% of the time all Republican. And they're also Republican, or Democrats are equally as guilty. 85% of the time they vote straight Democrat. Okay, so they also are robotic in this fashion. They pick the first line and they vote for that one in a primary. And so the higher in the line you are, the more chance you have of having somebody pull your lever. Okay? If you have a petition with 2 people on it, they automatically are first and second. If you put one petition in for you and one for your wife, their candidate's going to be first, you're going to be second, she's going to be third, and they're more likely to win than you are. So consolidate your efforts, pull them together, and make sure you get the best bang for your buck every time you knock at a door. Okay? All right. Yes?
Can you have more than 2?
No, only 2. Only 2. You can have more offices, like say for a countywide. Let's just say I was a judge is running countywide. The county controller is running countywide. The county executive is running countywide. The sheriff is running countywide. All 4 of them can be on the petition because all the signatures within the county of that party would be valid. But whenever some signatures will apply to one office and not apply to another, you can't do that.
But if you got 5 people together want to run for your town committee, do they all 5 be on that petition?
No, because you're not going to run them all for the same location. Because a town is broken up into election districts, only 2 per election district would be allowed on the petition. Okay? So you only want 2 people on the petition at a time. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about running a petition?
When there are changes that have to be made, some things that have to be crossed out, whose initials say would go on that? Would it be the person who's providing the petition, or would it be the person whose address, say, was wrong
No.
and corrected?
The correct answer is whoever corrected the mistake. However, the best answer is the person who witnessed the signature at the bottom. Okay? So I affirm that I am so-and-so, I live at such and such a place, and I witnessed all these signatures. That person should make all the corrections and initial them. And what I do so that there's no question as to what was there and what is there, is I defer to my military experience. I put a single line through the error, and I write the correct information next to it, and then I put my initial next to the correction. Okay? Anybody can make that correction. Okay? But, and knowing the rules as they are, I was very meticulous when I filled out my last petition, and I went through my petition with a fine-tooth comb at the end of every single day, so that I was sure there were no mistakes, and then I would sign it at the bottom. And every day I would go through each page and make sure the witness information was correct, all the information was correct. When it was done, and I had my copy, and I had my original, and it was bound together, I handed it to my attorney, an election law attorney. He came back with 160 mistakes. Okay? 160 of them. And I had to initial each of the mistakes. Okay? They weren't mistakes that would invalidate the petition. But like I said, don't give them a hook, because they just might use it. Okay? Yes?
Was there a set number of committeemen allowed for each party in a district, or? How's that
There's
operate?
two per party, per election district. And a lot of them are vacant, and a lot of them apparently are occupied by people in name only that don't know they're on the committee. If you were in a nursing home, I could run a petition with your name on it, and you would be on the ballot, okay? And you would get elected if nobody challenged you, because as soon as you're on the ballot, if nobody elects you, you're immediately on it. And then I'll come and visit you and schmooze you and say what a nice person you are. It's too bad you're here. Would you sign this, please? And then I would be voting your proxy. Okay? I have 2 people on the primary challenge board that were on the committee. One was on the committee of the Republican Party, the other was on the committee of the Independence Party, and did not know they were on the committee. Okay? Anybody else? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
at the bottom of the page, well, the date that goes along with the witness's signature and other information.
Yeah, that's on the...
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay?
I understand that date has to be the date of the last signature that's on the list. The last date of the last signature that's on the list,
It has to be equal to or further
or beyond.
or later.
Or beyond.
It can be beyond. Don't make it earlier.
Right, right. But on the list itself, what happens if somebody puts a wrong date in there? In other words, and the dates are out of sequence as you go down.
The board will throw that page out.
Okay, so.
Okay? And that's one of the big mistakes, by the way. That's why I pre-print the date. So nobody has to put the date in, and nobody has to put the town in. I pre-print all that.
Yeah, but when I did it, I couldn't do that because I was getting signatures on different days.
See, I would print them every day that I went. Before I went out on that particular day, I would print 3 or 4 or 5 sheets, and then I would go out. Because I might not go into the same town every day, and obviously I want to go out more than one day. So I would print what I'm going to use that day, and then I would go out. And that's an easy way to prevent people from making mistakes. Keep in mind, you got a lot of volunteers out there, and you want to make sure, and you want to collect this stuff at the end of the day. If you have 10 volunteers out there, you want to get 10 sheets of paper back at the end of the day. And you want to check each one to make sure they sign. Now, here's one of the mistakes that one guy made, the guy that got tossed off for 499 signatures. He had people handing him sheets, and he didn't have the witness information filled out on them. So when it came time for him to finish his petition, he couldn't remember who ran what streets. Who actually witnessed the signature. And the same thing of this guy that ran for the city of Buffalo, for mayor of the city of Buffalo. They couldn't tell or remember who ran what streets. The witness is certifying, I ran this petition and these people signed these petitions in front of me. And so they guessed at it. They said, okay, we think it was so-and-so, and think it was so-and-so, and think it was so-and-so. They only got to find one person to say that, oh no, it wasn't a guy, it was a girl that gave me this petition. And that person goes to jail. That's fraud. Okay? And trust me, they will prosecute you into oblivion if you break the rules. They will prosecute you into oblivion. Trust me. Yes?
How did you pre-fill the dates and the towns?
I
understand that, but you had to know who you were gonna see that day.
Yes, I would assign people to certain towns.
Okay, so.
Okay? On certain days. So I'd say, town, I want you to go to Newstead and hit District 5.
So you
And
have
I would give them the list.
geographical plan map.
Right. Right. You want to plan, yeah, you do want to plan this out. Right. You want to plan, yeah, you do want to plan this out. Because you want to go where there's a high concentration of people of that party. In some of our areas around Western New York, you can get a signature at one house and go 2 miles to the next house. Okay? That's not a great way to get signatures. You want to go where they're lumped together. So we'll give somebody, I want you to go to District 12, I want you to go to District 11, I want you to go to District 9. And they would have the voter list for that district separated by street and address. And they would just walk up and down the streets to each of those houses, and if somebody was home, fine, you get a signature. If somebody's not home, they'd mark that down too, and we come back later. okay? And we just keep pounding away at it until we get all the signatures we need to get on the ballot. It's not that hard if you get a little bit of help. Yes, sir?
Again, if you're a witness, right, and then the date is incorrect, on say one of the lines, can I correct that and initial it?
That's fine.
That is-
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, anybody else?
Just one, is an election district different from a precinct?
Not really, no. We call them election districts in New York. There are places around the country that call them precincts. Okay, I think Campaign for Liberty, anybody from Campaign for Liberty? They call them precincts in Campaign for Liberty, don't they? Because I think that might actually be the, the more common nationwide, but in New York they're called election districts. Okay, anybody else? All right, it's been great to be here. I hope you all learned something. Tom is coordinating Albany County for me. Get with Tom if you want to get involved. If you can help us, we'd certainly appreciate it. All right?
Before everybody goes,